Very good morning to all of you. In our previous lecture, we have seen what is the file class, what are the different methods available with the file class. Then we have seen what is file input stream, file output stream, its parent class, only input stream, only output stream. That we have seen some of the common methods. And then we will start with another classes, and then we'll move on to the character oriented stream, right? In the syllabus it is not clearly mentioned. I mean, only few classes, because it contains around the 30 classes, and we cannot include all the 30 classes into the syllabus, right? Otherwise it will be very difficult to remember, right, all the methods for all the classes. So we have a few classes only, which is already mentioned, but still I'm showing you other classes also, right, and their examples. And then we'll move on to the character oriented strip, right? All the contents and the program is taken from Java T Point and Daniel Liang. Okay. Fine, my screen is visible, right? So this is what we have seen in our previous session. Now we'll start with another input stream classes, like buffered input stream. Buffered input stream is doing what? This buffered input stream class is used to read the information from the stream. It internally uses the buffer mechanism to make the performance faster. Why? Because every time whatever you are reading and writing, that is character by character, byte by byte, right? So every time you are writing the character to the stream, or from the stream to the file, right? Every time, or you are reading from the stream. So character by character, whenever you are fetching the data, it is taking much time, because you are again simply taking that character, you are putting at the appropriate place, right? So that will take some time. But instead of that, inside the stream, if we are having buffer mechanism, then buffer will store all the characters and you can write at once, you can read at once, right? So it will take the less time and it will give you the faster performance. I hope it is clear why we are using buffer. It is, I mean, similar to your operating system concept. If you know, um, there was a page table and all, right? So every time in the TLB also, you are storing some of the entries, that if this page is recently opened, then you don't have to go to that memory address for searching. Instead of that, directly from the buffer, you can refer it, right? So the same concept is here. Why we are using buffer, right? The same concept. So here this is buffered input stream, as well as we are having buffered output stream. Java buffered output stream class is used for buffering an output stream. It internally uses the buffer to store the data. It adds more efficiency than to write the data directly into a stream. Directly you are writing the data onto a stream. Better than that, you are writing into buffer first, and it will be flushed at the once. So it makes the performance faster. So we'll see the example of input as well as for the output. Okay. Here I'm not mentioning all the different methods, right? So we'll directly see the examples only. First I'll write the data and then we'll read the data. This is with the use of buffered output stream. But before that, I'm showing you that hierarchy again. Yes, here it is buffered input stream, buffered output stream. This thing, what we are using that within the stream. It is not like that you can separately create directly the object of this buffered input stream and you can directly open one file. No, buffer is actually within the stream. So first you need the class which is file input stream or file output stream, and within that you can include this buffer. Are you getting? It is not like that you can directly create the class of buffered output stream equals to new buffered output stream, and directly you can open the string. For opening and closing a stream, buffer is not only the one which is the required one. You need one main stream first, and then you can include this buffer mechanism as well as the data output stream mechanism. You can add it. Okay, that is why I'm showing you this hierarchy again. Fine. I'll check my connection in between. Okay. Fine. So here I'm having one class which is file output stream. I'm creating the object of it, and I'm creating this new file output stream, and I'm opening the stream with this file, the gdrive abc.txt. So this is what the file I have opened to write something. But for writing mechanism, for the faster performance, I'm including buffered output stream class. Okay. So I'll create buffered output stream, bout is equals to new buffered output stream, and I'm passing the object of this file output stream. Because on this file output stream, I'm having one buffer. This means that. Or you can directly write over here like this. New file output stream, and now here you can open this like this. Okay, so this is what you can use. You are creating one buffer on another stream, which is your file output stream, which has a stream linkage, which is just nothing but a pipeline. That what we have discussed in our previous session also. Stream is nothing but a pipeline. So here we are having one of the connection of the pipeline from this file gdrive abc.txt to this buffer. Okay, so this is what the connection. This connection is mediated with another pipeline of this file output stream. So instead of writing directly on the file output stream, I'm having a mediator which is buffer. Okay, so I can write like this also, or you can create the object like this, and you can pass its object over here. Fine. These are the two different ways you can write. Okay. Now I need to write a whole string, that is welcome to Java. But I cannot directly write the string with this method, right? So what I need to do, I need to convert this string into byte array, and I'm converting it with this get bytes method. And then I can write this byte array inside this write method. Okay, then I'm flushing and I'm closing it. And finally it is success. Very small and simple programs I'm showing you. So when we'll run this, so here I'm using G drive, that is the absolute path. So in G drive, I'll be having one file named as abc.txt, and inside that it is written welcome to Java, right? So now again I can go to buffered input stream example, and I'm reading the same data from that file only, which is at G drive abc.txt. So I'll create the object of file input stream now, because you wish to read. For reading, always use input stream. For writing, always use output stream, right? So file input stream, I'm creating the object equals to new file input stream, and I'm giving the path. Now I'm creating buffer. That buffered input stream bean is equals to new buffered input stream, and I'm passing the object of this f in. Now whatever you are reading, that is in integer form. So you are taking integer I. While loop, again this I is equals to bean dot read is not is equals to 1, then you need to print those characters onto the screen. Right? Only difference is this. Otherwise the program will remain same. Have you seen that? Here you are taking bean because you are reading from the buffer. Okay, and you are writing to the buffer. So that is it. You can read that and it will be on your screen. right? Fine. So it will show you the data. So clear this class. Okay. Now another class, which is the next is, I told you that I'll show you this file input stream, file output stream, then this buffered input stream, then we'll see what is byte array input stream, and we will see the data input stream. These three classes are not much important, as in the filter input stream we are already using a separate child class. So no need to use this filter input stream class, right? And here this piped input and this object input, they are not so important because we are writing a whole object and all, right? So that is very complex and it is not in our syllabus. So why to include those complex methods and everything here? So we are keeping this. You can read it by your own, right? So we have seen input stream 1, 2, 3, 4, and this 5 classes, right? So now we'll see what is byte array input stream class. So again, back to our slide here. Byte array input stream. The byte array input stream is composed of two words. Name itself says one is the byte array and another one is input stream. So as name suggests, it can be used to read byte array as the input stream. And here it is why we are using this byte array output stream, because suppose I'm showing you that suppose there are two different output streams are here, right? And I'm creating one of the stream which is the byte array stream. So this is what, here is my pipeline. Okay. This is what the pipeline. Okay. Through this string, I have created here the byte array input stream or byte array output stream. Now with the file input or file output stream, they are connected to a different file. This is created to a different file. This is one file which is f1.txt. Now here I'll be having another file which is f2.txt. And I want to write the data which is similar for both the files. So I am creating this byte array output stream where whatever the data I have written, say suppose I am only writing A or I am writing welcome to Java. Whatever I am writing here, that the same thing I wish to write into every multiple files. So to write into the multiple files, what we are doing is, just a sec. Yes, Ritesh is saying very correctly, multiple pipes, right? So it will create the multiple pipes. So through one method, which is an important method, write to. This is what the method special into this class, because each and every class is somehow different in the other class, right? So here it is write to method. So we can write to multiple files via this byte array input or output stream. Okay. So this is whatever we are writing here, it will be write to this file, it will be write to this file, so we can write like this. Otherwise, we have to write all the data again and again. And we have to send again onto a stream, then we can write into another file, we can close that stream, we can open again another stream. we can again write that data and we can send to this another file. But instead of that, data will be into this stream at once only, and we can write into two different files at a time. So for that, we are having this class. So we'll see the example related to that. Yes. Byte array output stream. So first we will write the data and then we'll read the data. Okay. So first I'll create file output stream. So that is fout1 file output stream, and I'm saying that in G drive there is one file f1.txt where I need to write another stream to write into another file. But I'm having only one stream, which is byte array output stream, where I could have a whole byte, right? The different data into this byte array output stream. Now in that stream means over here, over this pipe, I am writing that bout dot write 65, bout dot 65 means I am writing a, and from that array output stream only I am sending those to another file streams, which is the object of file output stream, which is fout1. So I am write to, I am writing here the method write to, which is very important. So bout dot write to, and I'm writing fout1 and fout2. So the same data 65 will be returned to both the files, and I'll do this flush and I'll close it. Fine. So clear this thing. So compiling this program, and when I'll run this in G drive, I'll have this F1 and F2 file. In F1 also I'm having A, in F2 also I'm having A. Now you are getting, when we need some common data to write into multiple files, at that time we can use this. Okay, clear? Fine. Now again we'll read the data, and for that I'm having byte array. So you can understand what the name itself says, byte array input stream. So you can even read a single data and you can print here, or you can write a single data just simply like we have written 65 single data, or you can write a whole byte, right? So here I'm reading this byte array buf, that is the name, right, the buffer, and inside that I'm writing 35, 36, 37, 38. So this is my byte array, and these are the ASCII value of 4 characters. They are the 4 special characters because it starts from this in the series of 3, so you can understand. Then I'm creating byte array input stream byt equals to new byte array stream, and I can pass this buffer array. I can pass this buf. Now I am reading those data, so integer k equals to 0 and k equals to byte dot read till it's not -1, and we are converting this byte into again character. So we can write character ch equals to, and we are doing this typecasting in k, and we are printing in system.out.println, and the ASCII value of this character k is the special character this. This is what just I'm printing, right? So I'll show you this by running the program. Can you see this output? All right.
Yes.
So this is how they are simply printing whatever your integer data, which is a byte, to a specific character that you are converting. But they can read a whole byte array over here. Fine. Then again back to our slide. Here another class is data output stream and data input stream. Data input stream means Java data input stream class allows an application to read primitive data from the input stream in a machine independent way. Now, how your data is machine dependent? Say, suppose I am writing the data uh, as you have learned in C and C++ also, according to the book, integer bytes are 2 bytes, right? But if you are using the editor like the Codblocks or the any other editors, it is showing you integer bytes 4. Why? Because it is depends on what? It is depends on your compiler, right? So it is your machine dependency, okay? And here, whatever the bytes you are writing, whatever the bytes you are reading, you are not concerned about how many bytes they are creating for the Java primitive data types when you are writing. So here you are writing even integer data. Here you are writing long data, right? Any integer form data you can write. You cannot write float, you cannot write the double data, right? Because this is byte oriented string. Over there you cannot spread 65.3. So what is the meaning of 65.3, right? So it is nothing. So in that case, we are writing Java primitive data, okay? And here the same thing, Java data output stream class allows the application to write primitive Java data types to the output stream in machine independent way. How it is machine independent, that I'm showing you, don't worry. So data output stream, when I'll show you the example, you will get to it. Okay. So here I'm having one of the class. Inside that I have created one file output stream object which is named as file equals to new file output stream, and I'm giving the path which is abc.txt file. Now in data output stream I have created one of the object of it. Data output stream data is equals to new data output stream, and I'm passing this file object. Do you remember that I have shown you that hierarchy, that buffered input, or for the data you cannot directly create a new stream and you cannot open this file directly. What I said, you have to pass the object of another stream which is file output stream, right? So this is what you are doing. You can even write here that new file output stream and this control C and control V here. So that you can simply write. Okay. Then to this stream, which is your data output stream, you are writing some data, and for that you are having different methods like write byte, write integer, write long, and so. So here I am using write long method. Write long method means how many bytes it will create, that is the 8 bytes, and I'm writing 65. It means the capital A should be stored into 8 bytes. Simple thing, right? Then I'll do this data flush and then close, and then I'm simply printing this. Now you can simply check the file. That is important. Here output is important. So we will go to that folder and we will see that again ABC file. Have you seen this, how they are storing a? They are storing our character into 8 bytes. Okay, so you can check here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on 8th byte they are storing 8. So total 7 space and 8 one. So it will be easy to read the data. It will be easy to read the data because I am only fetching long data, or I'll only fetch integer data. So whatever will be there inside this, it will be fetched, right? So how we are reading, that is again important. So we'll see that first, and then I will make some of the changes here and I will show you that again. Here this is data string. Here I have taken the input stream input, but I cannot create the object. You can even take the file input stream over here, but they are just showing you the different ways. Input stream input equals to new file input stream, where I have connected my line, my stream with this file. Okay, because I wish to read the data from here. Now data input stream inst is equals to new data stream, and I'm passing this input over here. Okay. Now I'm taking just count, that how many count is available. Have you seen this method, right? Available. Available will simply return how many bytes you need to read from the file. So I'm saying that input dot available. So input dot available will return that, okay, here in this file 8 bytes are there. So it will return 8, that will be stored into count, and for that only I am creating the array with that size, whatever the count I am getting. So I am not dependent on machine, right? If for integer they are taking only 2 bytes, then also it is fine. For integer they are taking 4 bytes, for the 8 bytes, whatever the compiler they are using, we are least concerned about it. Whatever the number of bytes we are having, with that count only we will create array of the byte. Simple. So I have created one array with this size, and inside this array I am reading the data. So inst means this data input stream. With that object I am reading, and I am storing where? Inside this array. So finally in byte array it is stored, and now we have used for each loop for writing this data onto monitor. So I have taken this byte, whatever the name you wish to take, you can take here, then colon, and I'll write ARY, which is my array name. Okay. So whatever the data is there, that is in byte form. Byte means you can imagine integer form. So I need to convert, I need to typecast into character, I'll store into K, and I'll print this K with this dash. So you can understand how many bytes actually they are printing. How many bytes they are actually printing. That I'll show. I hope I'm connected. I'll check in between again and again. Okay. So here Java C, and I'm reading the data, whatever is written into 8 bytes. So have you seen this? First dash means 1 blank, 1, 2 blank, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on the 8th byte it is written 8. So this is how they are reading. Now we will change here. Now in this output stream, this is my output example, and I'm writing long. Now I'll write integer method. 4, obviously, right? And here when I'll read it, read example, sorry, not this read, this data stream example. Here I don't have to do any changes. Whatever at the time of writing you are doing, automatically this will return 4 bytes. I don't have to write anything else. Where it will automatically return 4 bytes. It will create the byte of this 4 because the count is 4, and it will show you the 4 different data. So I haven't changed in reading. So this is the machine independent way, right? So I'll show you again by compiling output example also, because I need to write it again for the 4 bytes integer. Once it is successful, we are compiling data stream example for reading. So have you seen this? Now it is only 4 bytes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because you are writing integer, that is why. And you can check with that abc.txt file. Now it will be having only 4 bytes. 1, 2, 3, and on 4th it is written 8. So is it clear? what the data input stream and what the data output stream will do. It's fine. Okay. So now we'll move on to the reader writer class, which is now we are moving on the character oriented stream. Here the byte is over. Till now we were writing into integer form and we are sending it. So on our stream into our pipeline, the data was in byte form. Now into the pipeline, our data is into the character form only. We don't need to convert our data into integer or into the byte array, right? So it is an abstract class for writing a character string. The methods that the subclass must implement that are the character array, integer. So here is the method write, flush and close. These three methods are the abstract method into writer class. Do you remember that the main parent class, which is writer is an abstract class. So it has at least some of the abstract methods. So this three abstract method, this class is having. You can check over here, abstract void write, character array, some of the things here, and there's off and len you can have, right? So this character array, integer offset and length, and void close and void flush. These are three abstract methods. And all the other methods are the normal concrete methods. Okay. So here you can even append. You can append into your file with some character, right? So you can add the character and it will be written into your file. You can have character array. You don't have to write single character, but the series of the characters, sequence of the characters, so that you are writing via character array, it will write the array of characters. Append, again the character array, from there you are choosing. From this index, only with this length I need to write something. So only the portion of an array of the characters that you are writing. Then you are having void write method here. It writes a single character. You can write it. You can write sequence of character with the character array. You can write the character array, but only the portion of. This is for appending, this is for writing. Then you can even write a whole string. You don't have to convert your string into bytes and all. You can directly write your string here because this is character string. Fine. Then you can write even string and you can choose the offset and length because you want only portion of the string, not the whole string, and the close and flush that you need. Now the reader class. Reader class is again the abstract class for reading the character string, but reading is again, it will return integer data. Reading is not like that. It is reading all the characters only, and for reading purpose your characters are flowing into a string. No, again whatever you are reading, that is in integer form only, just like your byte oriented stream. Are you clear with this? The only methods that the subclass must implement is read and close. Only two methods are the abstract ones. So you can check here, abstract method integer read and the abstract method void close. These two are the abstract methods that the reader class is child class compulsory need to implement. Fine. So here read return type is important. Here it is not like they are reading in character. No. Fine. So here again the return type is integer. So integer read, it reads a single character, but it will return ASCII of that character. It is reading the character, fine, but it is returning ASCII of that character. Then read the character array, and it is returning again in integer, so it reads the character into an array. Then abstract integer reads some of the portion. Then again here you are having a character buffer target, because I said no, you can even use here the buffer. So you can even use here the target, which is your destination where you need to read, which is just we have used in our previous example. If you remember, we have created the array with the count size and we are reading everything into that byte array. So here we are having character array, just like that. Then void mark. Mark will do what? Mark will only mark the present position in the string. It will mark the present position into the string. And some of the streams are not supported this marking, right? That you cannot store where are you right now, on which byte you are reading the data. So here in my stream, mark is supported or not. So it will simply return true or false. It will tell that whether the string supports mark operation or not. Then close, that you already know. Ready. Ready means it will tell whether your stream is ready to read or not. Right? Reset means it will simply reset your string. And skip. Skip means it will skip the number of characters, whatever you are mentioning here. Right? So these are the methods of reader class. It is already mentioned in your syllabus, reader class and writer class. Then we will see file reader class and file writer class. Okay. These four classes we will see today in this session. So we can move on to the example of reader writer. So first I am writing, okay, this is my writer class example, but you remember writer class is the abstract class. You cannot create object of any abstract class. So here I am writing writer w equals to new, but I am creating the object of file writer, which is our very next class to be seen. File writer, and you are giving output.txt. Okay, so here I need to write that I love my country. So I want one string to be right here. So I can directly write, I mean this w dot write, and I can directly put this content which is of type string. But if it was byte oriented, then what I need to do, I need to take byte array here. Then what I'll do this content dot get bytes. So it will be converted into bytes, and then only I can write with the object w dot write, and I can pass this byte array. Do you remember this? But here I don't have to convert into bytes. I can directly write the whole string. So I'm directly writing this content inside this write method. Simple. And here I'm writing it's done. So when we will compile this program, I'll compile this, then I'll run this. It's done. So I can directly go to this G drive and I can check in ABC. Sorry, it was an output file. Output, it is there. I love my country, which is written. Right. The same way you can read the file. Yeah. So it's reader example. Here again you cannot create object of reader because reader is the abstract class. So reader equals to new, but you are creating the object of file reader, just like you have created the object of file writer. Okay. So file reader, and you are saying that you need to read the data from output.txt. So now in this integer data, you are reading the data that reader.read. So very first character will be read over here, that is I. I am reading into this integer data because what I said, read method will always return integer. So at the left hand side, I need to take one variable which will store integer data. Yes or no? I cannot write here like the character c equals to reader.read because read is not returning the data in character form. It is returning the data into integer form. Now I'll read here, while data is not equals to -1, till that it will read the data. So system.out.print, and I'll show that data into character. So ultimately I need to convert that into character. Yes or no? So I'll use this character and I'll print it. Now again I'll read that data. Data is equals to reader dot read, because here I have not taken the array, no, so I cannot check that till the whole my array is having this data is not equals to 1, till that I'll read. So what I'll do, I'll again read inside this while loop only. The data is equals to reader dot read. So again another character will be here. I love my country, so L, then next time O, then V, then E, and so on. All right. So one by one we will read the data. At the last, I love my country. After this Y, there will be -1. So here in data it is -1. Again, we will check the data is not equals to -1. No, but data equals to -1. So it will directly come out. It will close this string. Simple. So we'll read this data. Right? So it will read that I love my country. Simple. Okay. Now we'll see next what is file reader and file writer class, right? So again back to our slide. Next is file writer class and then file reader class. Java file writer class is used to write the character oriented data to a file. It is character oriented class which is used for file handling in Java, because we need to write something in character, not in bytes. Unlike the file output stream class, you don't need to convert your string into byte array, because it provides the method to write string directly. So here in this write method, you can directly pass the string. You can even write a single character. You can even write the character array, flush and close, you know already. Then file reader. Java file reader class is used to read the data from the file. It returns the data in byte format like file input stream class. They are very similar. Java file reader class is used to read the data and it returns the data in byte format. So the return type is integer here, right? But it is a character oriented class which is used for file handling in Java. Whenever you are writing some data into a character oriented stream, but you are reading the data with the file input stream, so that is not possible, right? So instead of that, what we are doing is we have provided, means Java have provided the classes like file reader and all, which is reading the data, though it is into byte format. Right? So here the reading method, this read method is having return type integer, not character. Please remember this thing. So it is used to return a character in ASCII form. It returns -1 at the end of the file. And we are closing it. Only two methods inside this file reader. All the other methods will be by default from this reader class. Right? It is already there. Right? So we'll see the example of file reader and writer and we'll wind up the session. File writer and then file reader. Here you can directly create the object of file writer. File writer fw equals to new file writer, and I want one pqr file where I need to write some data. So here fw.write, with this object of fw, I am writing the data which is welcome to Java. I'll simply close it. So that's it. If it is your byte oriented string, then you cannot directly write like this as a string inside this write method. Do you remember this? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
But here you can directly write a string. Right? So it is very easy. You are only creating object. You are directly writing with fw.write. So it's over. You are closing. So character oriented string, in that to read and write, it is very easy compared to the byte oriented string. Right? So writer. It will generate one PQR file in G drive, right? So we'll go to that file, PQR, yes, here it is, and welcome to Java has been written. So the same thing we will read, right? So for reading, file reader example. So here I am creating file reader fr is equals to new file reader, and we are giving the path. From here I need to write. So I will take integer I because my data will be in integer form into the ASCII. So while this I equals to fr dot read is not as equals to -1, till that you can read the file, and whatever you are taking inside the I, a single characters ASCII. First, it will have the ASCII of W. It will print that W, but it will convert into character. So on screen it is W. Then it will take the ASCII value of E, and it will check whether it is -1. No, it will print. So this is how a single character will be printed onto the screen. So this is how they are reading. Very easy in Java, right? Because we are just creating the class object and we are writing and we are reading. Only two methods are most important, read and write. That's it. Okay, but if it is the byte oriented, you have to remember first you need to convert into the byte array and you can write the byte array. If it is character oriented, you can directly pass the string. This is what the conclusion. Fine. Any doubt in this? We have seen lot many classes, huh? And still we will see into our next lecture also. Right? We will see more classes. Okay, that's great. Good. Wait for 2 minutes for your doubts, else we'll wind up the session. Right? Okay, fine. Then you can write down your enrollment number if you don't have any doubt. Number one, Nancy. Then number two, Rahel. If you give me a number, you may leave the loop.